Welcome to the pre-show. Pre-show's probably not gonna be very long. I think just long enough to send the tweet and retweet it.
There's nothing wrong with that. Pre-show. The pre-show is what it is,
Yes,
and what it is
pre-show.
the pre-show. And if you're out there watching the pre-show and you're just now tuning in, getting ready for us to start, you know what you could do? There's a little fist down there, right down there, right down there. There's a little fist, and it looks like this. You should press it. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. You press it, and then below that, there's another button, and it's red, and it says subscribe.
If it says subscribed, you're good.
Yeah. If it says subscribe and it's red, I bet you won't click it. You scared? Are you scared right now? You scared to click it? You're not gonna click it?
But don't press the fist doing this. Only villains do that.
Yeah. You don't want to be Plankton. You want to be Mr. Krabs. Better yet, you want to be SpongeBob. And if you want to be SpongeBob, you click the like and subscribe button.
I want to be
Or-
SpongeBob.
Or you can be Plankton and get beat by a cheapskate all day.
And I'm sending the stream tweet, and then we're good to go. I'm sorry, everybody. I hit
No,
the
you're
button on Stream Deck, and it didn't work. It just keeps telling me, nope.
More or less what I'm trying to say is, hello. Thank you for coming. Like and subscribe. Yeah, I know, Nathan. I know you're the only one here, and I appreciate you. But I also, this is for the VOD people. So if you're out there watching the VOD
That's
and you
right.
haven't liked and subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing? Press the bell. See, look, Nathan's part of the notification squad. Go look at the comment for this moment exactly. He's part of the notification squad. Why aren't you? What are you doing? Do yourself a favor and be a part of the full spectrum. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Hit the bell! Okay, I'm done with my rant now.
Everything has been sent.
Okay.
So,
I'll
real
retweet
quick,
it.
before we get started, I just want to apologize to everybody for the different coloration on my camera today. It is currently 88 degrees in this room, and if I turn on that light there to get the better, more natural lighting, that'll go up to 90. So, we're going to stick at 88 right now, and we're going to deal with this light above that's casting a glare on Go Lion back there. But my air conditioner at my house is out of Freon. I found that out today. So that could not be fixed before the podcast. So sorry about that, everybody. You may notice me sweating over the course of this conversation and podcast. That's just what we're stuck with. Duck with is what I was about to say. I'm out of sorts. And if you hear a million fans every time I speak, yeah, that's so I don't die. So sorry, everybody. With all that said, though, hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
And I'm Patrick.
And Andrew could not be with us here tonight. He had to work. Again, the place that he works, this is the busiest time of the year for him, just as the last month was the busiest time of the year for me. So please do not hold it against him. But Pat and I, we have a little bit of news to talk about. Not that much, but we do have weeks, of course, still. And there's some exciting things to talk about. So Pat,
Absolutely.
you want to start us off tonight?
I can, but right after we talk about the video we said we were going to talk about. The video that you linked me.
Oh, that's part of my week.
Okay. Never mind. Well, I'll start, and then we'll get to it. Sorry for
Real
jumping
life.
the gun.
It happens.
Why didn't you just hit me, Hector? All right.
Careful, he hits hard.
Yeah, I know. So, I have been so busy this week with work because I'm working 6 days a week, and I was supposed to work today. I'm a little under the weather. I ended up basically getting sent home.
Yeah.
So, I've been doing a lot of nothing, watching YouTube. And all three of my manga series, well, like they just Shonen didn't put out chapters this week.
Yeah. They took a break this
So-
week for a holiday. There's like 2 weeks out of the year they take breaks for. One of them's Golden Week and the other one is... I'll look it up. Keep going.
Yeah. So I didn't even get a chance to read a manga this week, so it's kind of like a little frustrating, but it is what it is. Um, but I've been working all week, literally all week, and it's pretty much it. But I
I don't even know
gonna
who that is, buddy. I'm
pro-
sorry.
I don't know who it is either. I'm probably gonna end up playing some more Fire Emblem Three Houses tomorrow while I'm cleaning my room,
Yeah.
but I've literally just been going to work and then going home. I've not been, and by home I mean to my girlfriend's place because of the dog. So I've not had time to do anything this week.
Not blame you. It does not say. Would
It's
have
not.
been. It would have been a holiday, I assume.
Yeah, I ended up just reading some more My Hero,
Yeah.
so I can get closer to catching up. And I'm assuming the next really big arc is about to happen because they're building up to it. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. That's been my week. Really
Okay.
short and boring.
I have been working a lot as well. Again, as people know, I've stepped away from streaming until I can get my schedule taken care of, which hopefully was just going to be a temporary thing, but is now looking to not be. I was planning on doing Gundam Game Day last Saturday and then had to work, and then I was planning on doing Gundam Game Day this Saturday and work. So, we're going to aim tentatively for Gundam Game Day next Saturday, because I still want to do the Gundam Game Day streams. I just can't help it. I've been working a lot more lately, so it is what
It
it
happens.
is. I did get a raise though, so that's nice.
Yeah,
I got more responsibility as well, but you know.
that's normally how it goes.
But in and around that, I have been finishing Three Houses first playthrough. Finished the Blue Lions route, and I really liked that. There's a video up on this channel about my thoughts on that so far. Then I've still been trying to get 14 in as much as I can. I missed about a week and a half of dailies in 14, which should tell you how busy I am. Those of you
Yeah.
that know that I don't miss my dailies in 14.
Exactly.
So there is that. But I very much enjoyed my time with the Blue Lions House and Three Houses, and I'm looking forward to... I'm on a Black Eagles run right now, and I'm looking forward to the stuff there. Before I thought about it, because I stopped myself because I was going to keep moving on. Pat, I was going to talk to you a little bit about how New Game Plus works. Houses.
Yes.
So, when you beat it, you know how there's renown in the game, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what you can spend that renown on right now?
No.
Okay, I won't spoil what you can spend it on right now.
So does it tell me, or am I gonna have to figure it out?
You probably can't spend it on there yet. You probably have to
Get farther in the game.
Get further, yes, because you are still pretty early on.
Yeah.
But after you beat the game, any route, you can then spend your renown to buy back any support you've already gotten with any character. Which makes it a lot easier to recruit specific characters.
Yeah.
You can buy back skill ranks for any character that you have already got that skill rank with that character. So, like, for instance, with Byleth, I was able to buy back some higher end skill ranks for specific weapons so that I could, right off the bat, use specific weapon types. Your your item shop and your armory keep the progression they had from the story, so you can buy later end weapons and stuff that you couldn't get already. Nice. You just then buy the rank back with renown to be able to use it. And probably my favorite, if you have, let's say you have, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm being very cautious about how I word this. You get specific items for completing a playthrough that carry over. And they're different items depending on which playthrough you do.
Okay.
Which will make it a lot easier to do things throughout the playthrough. So basically, I got all of my people to max on the class for their noble and commoners in the first fight that I got them.
Okay.
So that should give you an idea of how much faster it is on a second playthrough.
It definitely can make things move a lot faster.
Yeah. So because of that, I have just been auto instructing and doing seminars instead of doing practice battles and exploring the monastery a bunch. There's also a new thing that opens up at the monastery that I won't spoil, but it gives you an opportunity to get some really cool items too. So
Okay.
it's a very good new game plus. It's very nifty. I
That's
could
awesome.
already see you using that like just in the background while I'm playing with some characters, having them level other skills that they would never use, right? And then in a new playthrough, buying that skill back up to like a D or whatever, so they could already use like iron or hand axes or whatever, and then doing a playthrough where they used reverse weapons from stuff like that. There's a lot of options.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm curious as to like because obviously they knew there's going to be a lot of people out there that do a third playthrough.
Yeah,
I wonder if you will be able to take because you said you get specific weapons for the specific playthrough. I wonder if you'll be able to take the second weapon you get from the second playthrough as well into the third playthrough
I'm
because that would
assuming
probably
I
make
will be able to.
the third playthrough like a breeze.
Yeah, it seems like it's gonna be something that I'll just be able to breeze through now.
So without spoiling anything, like you can just make it a simple yes or no answer if you want. Um, how well? For I guess I should ask this first. How far have you gotten in your Black Eagles run?
Chapter 4.
Okay, so has there been a lot different, or has it been almost the same?
A lot of it's been very similar. But now with the knowledge of specific things, other things are in a different context, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And because the first playthrough was Blue Lions and it was very centric on that story, I'm now getting the other perspectives on some things that are really interesting. But I will say that so far it has not been very different. I'm expecting it to get very different as I get closer to the mid game or so.
So would you go as far as to say as the game, no matter what, is going to have the same end, just a different way to get there, or do you think that the end itself will be different as well?
Without spoiling anything, there is no way the end can be the same. There is no way the end can be even close to the same.
That's ridiculously exciting, honestly.
Because knowing what I know, seeing now where paths are already starting to lead, things have to be different.
That's super exciting.
I'm very excited. I'm a little nervous about the Golden Deer route. I'll be honest, which is the one that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Because without spoiling too much, those characters were doing other things, right? Like I want to know what they were doing, but there were times where they intersected again. And so I think there will be big moments of difference and then not that many big moments of difference.
Hmm.
But for all I know, if you're on that route, they never intersect at all. You know,
Yeah, it could be
the
just a specific to that route.
the head writer has come out on Twitter and said that no one route is canon, and they should all be considered separate canons. So just because something happens in
You
one
hear
route,
that, other game devs? You hear that? It can be done.
just because something happens in one route doesn't mean it has to happen in the rest. You know, which I'm very excited for. I'm assuming everything in the first like quarter of the game probably will happen the same regardless, and then
It's
it'll be
three games in one.
Yeah, sure seems like it.
If you have has three different stories, to me that's three games in one.
I am thinking it might have more than 3. I'm not sure, but it really seems like there might be 4. I
Wait a minute.
don't know that, but it feels like it.
What did you say?
I'll put it this way, without spoiling anything. On my route, there was a moment where a character gives me a choice, and it didn't feel like a choice with that route, right? Like there's no way it would have gone any different. But I can already see from this route things could be different. And I don't know, I'll know when I get there if that choice is a different thing entirely or if it's the same thing. But it feels like it'll probably be a different thing entirely.
Oh man.
Again, I don't know that for sure. I have not looked that up and it has not been spoiled on me. But it feels like, I'll put it this way, if that same choice comes to these characters, the answer that I give will be different.
That's exciting.
So I've
What a game! What a
yeah,
game!
it very much, Nathan, depending on which route you choose, is a build your own kind of story game. And I will tell you all right now, Dimitri from Blue Lions is in my top 5 like Fire Emblem characters of all time. He might be my favorite Lord now. Sorry, Hector. Sorry, Ike. Sorry, Sigurd. He might honestly be my favorite Lord now, which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
There are moments where he pops up, and now I'm on the Black Eagles route, and I'm just like, oh, there's my boy. Oh, come back, Dimitri. No, come back. Don't walk away.
See,
Come back to my classroom.
see, I really like all of my characters,
Hmm.
but it's difficult for me to pick a favorite right now. And I think that as the story progresses, it'll be even easier.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like I have a soft spot for Marlene, but Marianne.
Marianne.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names. Um, with Marianne, but that's because I'm being impartial.
To answer chat's question real quick, Thruggle, because I haven't been able to stream at all, the green screen is over there. Since I'm not able to stream right now, it's a lot easier to get in and out of this room without it hanging behind me. Man, I get where you're coming from. I do, 100%. But if Dedue is not your favorite character, then, hey, you just need to reevaluate how you look at characters. And
I have
I don't know what to
spent
tell
no
you.
time at all with that character.
I will tell you that Dedue is treated like dirt by everybody because where he's from. But my man Dedue has a forgiving heart and just says, I don't like it, but it's okay. Because everybody has their own preconceptions in this world. And at one point, he's like, hey, you probably shouldn't be around me because people are going to get the wrong idea and they're going to start hating you because of it. And it's like, oh, Dedue, no, man, no. I'm going to stay with you to the end.
Marianne's kind of like that.
Yeah, but she's no Dedue, that's all.
Marianne literally thinks that everyone thinks that she's like a waste of space and that she's always in the way.
Yeah, I got her to a B support because I've recruited her in my Blue Lions run.
She's fantastic. And she's a great healer.
Yeah. I will
she's
tell
literally
you. Go ahead.
Well, she's like, I'm only on chapter like 8 or 9, and I might be farther than that. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I turned on my Switch, but she's healing me right now 20 HP like for a heal.
Yeah. She's a pretty good healer.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that on if there's 4 routes on my 5th playthrough, I'll be playing through Blue Lions again just so I can marry Dedue. It's happening.
Makes sense.
I will A support Dedue. Happening. Whether the
Okay.
game lets me marry him or not, I don't know, but I'm A supporting.
So
I'll play as female Violet, and I will A support that man.
be honest with me.
Yeah.
Is there dancers?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Do you want me to just like give you the skinny real quick on it?
Well, is it okay? So is it
You
something
can
that you
miss
promote
it.
to?
Can
can
miss
miss
it,
it.
and only one character can get it.
Okay, don't tell me then.
Okay.
I'd rather miss it and hate myself for missing it than know what it is and miss the experience.
Okay.
My second playthrough, if I didn't find it, you best
Oh,
believe
yeah,
I'm gonna be
no.
like, Trey, we're the mother.
Yeah, no
The-
worries. I didn't even realize you could miss it, but once I beat the game, I went back and checked out a couple of videos from other people, and there was a video, a little podcast that Lucky Crit did with Mangs and Chaz, and Chaz Aria mentions in there that, yeah, I beat the game and never got Dancer, and Lucky Crit was like, wait, you can miss that? I was like, wait, you can miss it? So, hey, just heads up, you can miss it.
Man, I'm gonna be paying attention, but I still feel like I'm gonna forget.
It's okay. Dancer's really good, though. I won't spoil it, but it's really
I'm
good.
sure it is. I that's why I'm super excited. Okay, we're gonna talk about this all night. We should
Yeah,
probably
we'll move on. Thurgle says there's a lot working for 14. There is. And speaking of 14, I'm still leveling. I'm still working on it. The first job breakdown comes out tomorrow. That is for Machinist. Because remember, it's not just about getting them to 80. It's also about getting them to 80 and then feeling like I understand the new stuff. I'm not just going to get it to 80 and go, all right, let's read off the tooltips. That's not a good thing. I already did that video. That was where before the expansion dropped, when they gave us all the tooltips, and I read through all of them. It was like an hour and a half long. Go back and watch it if you're curious. But so the first job breakdown for Machinists will come out tomorrow, and then next week you'll probably get Summoner and Scholar, and then after that it'll just rotate. I've got Dark Knight to 74, everything else to 71 except for Dancer, which is at 69, and Gunbreaker, which is at 65. I'm working on it. And then the other thing that I've been doing this week, it was time to start my next Kamen Rider. And I was excited because I was going to start watching Kamen Rider Drive. But there was a movie called the Heisei Showa War movie. It was the Kamen Rider War, where the Kamen Riders fought each other from the Showa era versus the Heisei era. And I was like, the movie came out just after the end of Gaim. Gaim was big in it, and I was like, okay, this is a good time to watch that movie. Well, something happens in that movie.
Oh no.
The main character of Kyoryuger and the entire team of Tokyuger show up to help the writers. And I was like, I've never watched any Super Sentai in my life. I've watched Power Rangers, but like Power Rangers, it's goofy and it can be weird at times, and a lot of times the plots aren't that great, I liked it, don't get me wrong. I loved Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Zeo, and I watched In Space and really liked In Space, and Time Force, I really liked Time Force, SPD, but I hadn't kept up with Power Rangers because, it was Power Rangers, it was for kids, right? And I know that's a bias, and we're supposed to overcome our biases, but, that was one of the problems I had going into Kamen Rider, is I had been told that's just what it was, and then I got into Kamen Rider and it was much more mature, and the stories were a lot darker and very character focused, and I really enjoyed it. So I went to watch Drive, and I kept thinking about the main character Kyoryuger showing up, and to transform, he pulls out a battery and he puts it in his gun, and then he does this little dance that is really dumb, but it has this cool little jingle that goes along with it, and he spins around, he fires the gun in the air, and he transforms into a Kyoryu Red. And I kept thinking about it, and I was like, I could watch like one episode, just see if it's dumb or not. I'm on episode 6. It is a lot goofier than Kamen Rider, right? Like there are definitely moments that are just like, okay, that's an interesting decision for them to make. But it's not as goofy as I thought it would be. The only real difference in the way they're telling the stories is like in Kamen Rider, when a character dies, even just like side characters, even just nobodies, people you don't even know the name of, it's given like gravitas, right? Of like, hey, these civilians are dying. This is a bad situation. There is a moment in episode 3 of Kyoryuger where a monster that can flatten things flattens a skyscraper full of people, and nobody brings up that all those people are dead. Nobody ever talks about it. Nobody mentions it, and it's like, oh, so this is what this is Japan's idea of a kid show. If we don't talk about the fact that those people are dead, the kids won't notice. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, indeed.
Hey, Otaka, how's it going? So, with that in mind, I kept watching it, and it is very goofy compared to Kamen Rider. It's very different, but I do really like it, and I think part of why I like it is in the Rider shows that I've seen so far, there are very few main characters, right, that are like riders that are able to fight. So you have like Double has 2 riders, O's has technically 2 riders, Wizard has 2 riders, Forze has 2 riders, Gaim has a lot, but they're not all on the same side, and it feels kind of cool to have 5 characters on the main team,
Yeah.
That said, not one of the 5 is as fleshed out as any of the main characters so far in any of the Rider series that I've seen, and that's kind of a shame. I think these characters could definitely be given more time, and they're kind of one note in some ways. There's a really good moment in episode 4 where Kyoryu Black, Ian, is like, I mean, it's episode 4, right? I'll just talk about it. they deal with an actual on-screen death and his trauma from that. And by the end of the episode, he's smiling again, and I feel like they're never gonna bring that up again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's cool
Like
to
they just
know.
went over it. They just went over it for like the sake of it, and then just like moved on.
Yeah, we had to have this arc, but he completed this arc in an episode, and we're moving on. And it's like, oh, okay. And that remains to be seen. Maybe that's gonna come back later. I think the villain designs are really cool. I love the suit designs for Kyoryuger. They look really good. You know, it just really remains to be seen how the character motivations go, because I am super down to watch dumb fun Sentai, right? If that's what it's going to wind up being, I'm super down for that. I think there's a lot of joy in just watching a show that wants to entertain you and knows that's what it's doing and doesn't spend a lot of time on the characters. But it's not what I watch shows for, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not going to get as invested if that's the way this winds up being as I am in like a Gaim that I got so invested in that I watched 12 episodes back to back, all in one night. You know? But yeah, I'm very much enjoying Kyoryuger so far. And the best thing about it, Henshin devices. Look, y'all know by this point, where'd I put my belt? My Kamen Rider belt is in the other room, I think, my double belt. But we all know I love me some Henshin devices. Absolutely, right? You know how they Henshin? How they transform in Kyoryuger?
Is it with the battery, like you said?
They put the battery in the gun, and then they push the head of the gun down, because the gun is a dinosaur. And the gun goes, Gaburincho! And then says the name of the dinosaur that's attached to the battery they put in. So you have, like, Stugochi! And, like, that's all cool and all, you know? And then they rev the barrel and they fire it. But the main character, King, his dinosaur is the Tyrannosaurus. And his name is Gabutira. And so when he puts the battery in, it goes, Gaburincho! Gabutira! I have said Gabutira walking around this house all day today. Just, I'll be doing something. I made lunch, and just in the middle of making lunch, I was like, Gabutira! It's so good! And that's not even the only one. There's like a bunch of them that are like that. Like, Drakira! It's like, yes, I'm super down for that. I'm not saying I'm going to buy that gun. I'm just saying if there's suddenly a Gabarin show behind me somewhere, you know, don't be surprised.
He's already ordered it.
I haven't yet. I'm thinking about it though.
Okay. I was about to say he's already ordered it.
If I order it, then I have to learn that dance they do. Also, while they're doing the dance, it's like a dun 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 dun. It's like a. They went all in on the idea of like, hey, we're gonna make this fun, you know.
Yeah, which is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and then the ED is just the main 5 characters dancing to a song. And the song is about dinosaurs dancing. And so they'll be like, Gabu, Gabu. And then in the background, you've got like Gabutira just dancing. And it's like, yeah, this is pretty good. It's pretty good.
I mean, we've already had the OPED discussion.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love it whenever an OP or ED has the characters involved because it just means more.
I agree. But that's all for my week. Let me know, chat, and in the comment section down below if there are other Sentai shows that I should watch, because I'm probably going to watch the rest of Kyoryuger, then go into Drive, and then maybe go check out Tokyuger. I'm pretty sure those are around the same time. I know Kyoryuger and Wizard were at the same time. But I don't have like a huge desire to watch a lot of other Sentai, so let me know what some of your favorite Sentai are so I can check those out at some point. But expect a video at some point on Henshin sounds now because I'm addicted. Talk about Vinland Saga. I have not read Vinland Saga in a very long time, Boba Fett. It has been forever. I liked Vinland Saga a lot though. I really did.
I don't know what it is.
It's got an anime now, and people are really happy about it. Check it out. So we'll move on into the rest of the podcast. Again, just a reminder, if you hear my fans, I'm sorry. It is still 88 degrees in the house, even though it's gone down 1 degree outside. So there is that. It'll cool off eventually. Indivisible is finally getting a release date. It's October 8th.
Do I need to? I need to look at this again.
So this game has been in the works for around 3 years, I believe. I talked about it on the podcast at the time, but I absolutely loved the look of it. I loved the way that it, works. I played the demo, and I think we even recorded a video on the demo. It is a very, very interesting platformer with a really cool turn-based combat system that involves fighting game inputs. It looks, and the characters look amazing, and they always have, and now they look even better.
This art design looks really good.
Part of the reason it's taken so long to come out is that everything is hand drawn.
Wow.
So yes. It looks great. I'm very much excited for it. I can't believe it's coming out this year. I thought for sure it was going to be next year. Cannot wait to play that.
This 100%. Looks really good.
It does, right?
So you platform until you run into like a main character, and then everything turns into the tactical like RPG battle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, that's super interesting. Especially because over 20 playable characters. Okay. Oh my gosh, these characters look so good.
And if memory serves, Shovel Knight's in the game.
You should go check this out, everyone. Just look up Indivisible game. There you go.
Yeah, it's
after the video though. Don't leave yet. You need to wait.
It's really pretty. I'm very excited.
Did I just see what I thought I saw?
What's that?
Is that a Sharingan? Maybe. Wait a minute. Maybe. Hold on.
So this was a Kickstarter game. And the backers got to help input on characters. And
that might be a Sharingan.
Yacht Club gave a bunch of money, so Shovel Knight's in the game.
Okay, this looks way too close to a Sharingan for it not to be a Sharingan. I was kind of hype. I was like, this game looks great. I am a hype.
So
I want this so bad.
Anybody that's watched this for a long time knows that's why I made sure that Pat looked up the trailer. And that's why I was like, what'd you see? Because I knew it was in there.
I want this.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It looks like it's gonna be really fun. Also,
you had me at Sharingan.
The demo that I played 3 years ago, almost now it feels like. One of the ways you get around is that to do wall jumps, like you have your basic wall jump, and then you can also swing an axe into walls to be able to help get up, and it felt really good to just and the axe stick into the wall.
Man, I feel like this would be perfect for the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, it is coming to Switch.
But the Switch version will be later.
Oh, it's later.
Specify that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it on Steam.
I'm gonna buy it on PS4 most likely, so I can play it while rendering. Oh.
Yeah.
From there, we will move into the news. Not to be confused with the world. Yeah, I heard about that, Artaka. I need to get Batch Ride and play it, but I'm worried that it'll spoil stuff for me before I've seen the shows. So Pat, tell me about 2K's decision here.
I will gladly tell you about this decision. So, 2 years ago, NBA Live was working on making its comeback, and they were like, this is how we get sales. Our game sucks. Game sucks really bad. In fact, we might as well just use the code that we were using on 2K6, which was a lot better running and functioning game than 2K14, 15, and 16. Well, did we have 2K16? I think that was the year they skipped. It doesn't matter. I mean, NBA Live 16. It doesn't matter. So, NBA Live did this, and people were happy, but the game sucked. So people then were unhappy. And 2K has been hearing this from the fans of basketball in general. When is the WNBA coming? When is the WNBA coming? And they finally did it. And this year they did it really well, I think. I think that the girls look really good. It's probably the best animation of female basketball players we've seen so far. Like NBA Live had like decent renders of their bodies and their faces.
Yeah.
So like I thought they looked pretty good last year in the game. They look fantastic in 2K. They look really good. They also put out ratings for some of the players,
Yeah.
which was kind of controversial at first because people were saying like, why? How are you going to give her a 95 and her a 93? You know, they're not the same as LeBron. They're not the same as Kawhi, whatever.
Right.
But they're not playing against the guys, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's a separate
matter.
league, so what's it matter if their scores are the same as?
Exactly. That's why I was like, the whole time I saw it on Twitter, I was like, you ignorant fools.
Yeah, so we should specify this sparked a bunch of drama on Twitter.
Yeah.
There
No, it
was
did.
a
People were
lot of
mad.
people upset.
People were really mad, especially a lot of the diehard WNBA players who wanted to see all of like a lot more ratings, and some people who disagreed with the ratings,
Yeah.
but
And I think in a lot of ways, this would have been the outrage would have been the same if the roles were reversed. You know, if
mhm,
it had always been the WNBA and then they were adding the NBA, because then there would have been players. Because again, some of the drama was from people that are currently in the WNBA that are in the game that weren't happy about their own rating. Like it
yeah,
would have been the same way if it had been reversed. But then you also had the added problem of the question was asked, well, why couldn't we just have a WNBA game on its own? The honest reason is they wouldn't make it because it wouldn't sell as well. Not because
yeah,
the WNBA is worse or anything. Don't take me to say that. Just because most people that play NBA probably want to play as the people that they've been playing as for years that just play the games. I'm not talking about the ones that also watch basketball that would be like
well,
super down for both.
to add to your point too, like it's unfortunate, but the WNBA doesn't get televised. It gets televised a quarter as much
Right.
as the NBA, and the players don't get played as much. The coaches don't get paid as much. It's unfortunate because
Yeah,
I
I,
feel
I really disagree with that as like a thing, but
well, see, I'm actually a fan of the WNBA, and I have a favorite team. My favorite team sucks, so I don't want to get into it because it'll probably spark a little bit of controversy
it's fair.
alone in the comment section. But I love the WNBA. I love watching it because I feel like the game is played with more like, I don't want to say skill because the NBA is played with just as much skill, but there's more technique involved instead of it just being like powerhouses that can slam the ball into the hoop or like
Yeah.
shoot really deep threes. Like these girls actually have to run plays and be technical, and that's what I love about basketball. So I thoroughly enjoy watching the WNBA, and I've paid for like the WNBA League Pass, which supports the girls,
Yeah.
and I can watch their games as long as they're not blacked out for my area. So it just sucks. Like that's the main reason they're not going to be able to get sales is because a lot of people still don't even know it's a league.
Yeah, and
And
in a lot of ways, I think we should have learned our lesson from the WWE when it
mhm,
comes to Rose Bowl and the Battle of the Bells and all of those. They like because they would have been just as popular had they been given the same amount of marketing, had they been given the same amount of hype, had they been given the same amount of push. But because they weren't, thank you for that follow. Because they weren't, they were just kind of thrown out there, and then the network goes, "Hey, why don't people don't like the female leagues? Because look, nobody's watching them." And it's like, well, duh, it's because you didn't market it at all.
exactly. And see, and I don't want to get too deep into this because it'll become a political issue.
Yeah,
Because I mean, technically, right now, like one of the biggest political issues in the entire nation is revolving around females' jobs and their pay and etc.
right.
But
And
to
we
kind of nip
we
the
do
point,
try to stay apolitical. That's the phrase. I tripped over that.
yeah,
It's still hot in here. I'm sorry. We do try to stay apolitical on the podcast. We do like to just talk about video games and
yeah,
obviously Tokusatsu. Come on.
yeah, of course. To kind of nip the point in the butt though, like I think that adding the WNBA players to 2K is marketing in itself, and people don't realize that it's a
Yeah.
huge step. And to the WNBA players, I mean, obviously, they're probably none of them probably will watch this. I mean, just like none of the NBA players will watch
They
this.
might. You never
So
know.
yeah, well, we could get super popular,
You never
and
know.
or like one of them just might know us, but it's fine. Either way, the WNBA players that are upset about their rating need to realize that there's a ton of NBA players that are also upset about their rating.
Yeah.
They just handle it differently.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of NBA players that have literally come out and said that every year they do nothing but focus on what their 2K rating is, and
Yeah.
their goal is outside of winning a championship. Their goal is to have a better overall the next year, and that's a
Yeah.
cool competitive way to try to better yourself.
That's true.
And if the WNBA girls were smart, that's what they would do too. Um, but that kind of leads into this next thing. So I was just talking about how NBA Live, and I should have mentioned this last week. I completely forgot about it.
It's
Um,
fine.
yeah, I mean, no, like this news is kind of expected. So I was talking about NBA Live, anyways. To put it into perspective, NBA Live sold 400,000 copies last year, over an entire year. 2K sold that many in the first few hours.
Yeah. 400K is pretty low.
They've sold over 12 million copies of 2K this year.
I don't doubt it.
They overcomped by like 112% or something like that. Don't quote me because I don't remember the exact number, but I know it's over 100% that they comped from the last year. Even though they've had so many issues with, the whole my brain just blanked out so hard. Microtransactions. Even with the microtransactions and stuff, scandals and all that stuff, they still comped. And this year, they're taking out a lot of the microtransactions.
Yeah.
They're listening to us. And it's scary. It's really scary. But NBA Live has been pushed back to potentially seasonal time period.
Okay.
They're probably not making this game.
Yeah.
And I've said it on the podcast before. I've said it on Twitter multiple times, but nobody looks at my Twitter. I've said it multiple times in life in general. If EA is smart, and I know they're not, but if they were smart, they'd bring back NBA Live, NBA Street, and NFL Street, and stick with that. Just stick with that. That is it's unique. They're arcade style fun games. People will play them. Or make your game free to play. Listen to the community. Work on the game until you get it to a point where it's actually playable instead of being a piece of junk. Then that next year, you market the game as that year's game and you start over, charging $60 a pop. That's what you do. That's how you fix the game. But this is EA, and look what they did to Star Wars. All right, moving on.
Yeah. So, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is getting a free update because they're not EA.
We're just taking shots now.
An epilogue to the game.
That's so great.
And along with that is coming multiple save files, so you can have more than one save in the game, and multiple empty islands, multiple buildertopias that you can just start from scratch and build brand new stuff on. These are things I think probably should have been in the game at launch, but because it's free, I'm not going to complain. If it was DLC, I absolutely would complain. But since they're giving it for free, I think it's a pretty good value to the consumer, and I think it's not a bad thing at all. I think it's definitely stuff that's going to help the longevity of that game. Because one of the most fun things to do in that game is just build,
What if the epilogue was like cheap DLC, like a $5 DLC?
It would depend on how big it was then.
Yeah, I mean, because I want to make sure I say this like wholeheartedly. I think that no DLC, I think no DLC should cost money. If you're going to be adding
Depends
things
on
to the
what
game,
it is to me. Like, for instance, you look at, well, let's say Dragon Quest 11, right, is getting a bunch of brand new story content on the Switch version. If they then offered all of that story content and all the features that are on the Switch version on the PS4 for $20, that's an upgrade, right? That seems like a decent deal to me because that game's been out in Japan for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say, for instance, this epilogue's like 25 minutes long and the game's been out for a month and they charge $20 for that. That's ridiculous. To me, the value always comes in price, how long it is, and how long it's been.
So I probably should have more explain to myself instead of just saying such a blanketed statement. Um, unless it's like real story content, and what I mean by real story content is like you said, it's not 5 minutes long or
Yeah.
25 minutes long. It's actually like even if it's like 4 or 5 hours worth of gameplay, I think that's fair. But it probably couldn't be less than that. I feel like if it's only even an hour, like it's a waste of money unless it's like $5.
Well, like
Um,
you look at the big examples, right? Of fighting games and their paid character DLC, which I think in some cases is fine and in other cases is not. Because if you don't want that character, you just don't buy that character, right? Um, but Street Fighter V coming out and then 2 months later having 6 paid characters, that's a bit much, especially when we found out they were already on the disc. Um, but then you compare that to like Dragon Age 2 that had a DLC mission that was an hour long. It's $15 and came out 2 months after the game's release, and it's like that's a bit steep for 2 hours worth of content that if you just delayed the game 2 months would have been in the game for free.
yeah. See, I'm kind of torn on
Welcome
fighting
back.
games. I feel like DLC characters for fighting games shouldn't cost money.
I think it's okay to charge for them as much as I wish they didn't have to, because there is still like resources going into it, Like it's not just like those characters where the frame data is not just sitting around and they have to pay artists to do the actual character design, especially if the character is returning from a previous game and has to be glowed up for it, They have to actually like work in the frame data. They have to rebalance that character versus everybody else in the entire game. I think it's okay to charge for that. Again, entirely dependent on when that character comes out.
Okay, what about this then? If you make it, because a lot of fighting games are tournament games,
Yes.
and so that's where the frustration gets for me. So, for example, like Smash on um Smash Ultimate
Yeah.
with the Wii U. Um, Bayonetta was DLC,
Yes.
and she was a meta for the competitive scene.
Yes, but she also came out much later.
That's
She was the
true.
last DLC character and came out 2 years almost after that game.
That's true. But my thing is like, what if somebody could have competed at a high level playing with Bayonetta just like everybody else did, but couldn't, like maybe they're a little bit younger and they don't have a job and they couldn't, their parents wouldn't pay for the DLC or whatever.
Right. Well,
That's why I have like mixed feelings. Like if it would be one thing if like they weren't allowed to be in competitive play, or maybe they were just like really cheap.
I see where you're coming from, but at tournament you're not using your console either. You're using the
That's
FGC's
true.
console that has all the characters unlocked.
But you have to train.
Yes. Sucks to suck. I hate to say it that way,
I mean,
but like,
yeah.
it's a DLC
I understand.
character,
I understand the need for it, so I'm not trying to say like it's unnecessary.
I think where that balances out for me is that if the fighting game's balanced correctly, you don't have to play that DLC character to win the tournament.
That's true. That's very
true. You can
true.
play any character and beat the DLC character,
But we also know that nobody plays Yoshi in competitive play.
But I will use Zero did for a little while in Smash 4. I will use your example of Bayonetta in Smash 4 because Bayonetta was broken in Smash 4. He was too good in Smash. And so I do think that it falls definitely on the dev to balance the character correctly if they're going to be DLC. If you're going to charge money for that character, you better balance them right.
But okay, so let's take it a step further too. So how much is too much for a character, do you think?
I think you do not go above $5 a character. If you go above $5 a character, I'm not buying your character. If it was up to me, they would be $2 a character.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like it would be one thing if they were inexpensive, like $1 or $2. But I feel like a lot of times these games are charging closer to like $8 to $10 for a DLC character, and I think that's ridiculous.
Lately, it's been $5 as the cap. But when SF5 first came out, it was $6.99 for a bunch of those characters. $2 more may not seem like a lot of money, but when you buy in 5 characters, that's another $10 right there.
Yeah, it adds up. And I feel like $2 or $3 for a DLC character is reasonable because enough people are gonna buy it. Like they're gonna profit
Oh
off it.
yeah,
It's not like they're gonna profit
100%.
off it. So charging more than $3 or $4, like you said, is just kind of
I also hate though when a
wringing
character
the
is sold
towel.
on their own. I get why they do it, and I think it's fine to do that because some people don't want to buy all the characters, but I hate it personally. I would
Well,
rather buy a pack and get them all. Give me a pack for
I
$10 that has 5 characters.
I would rather they do like this Smash did, where you can get like the pass,
Yeah,
where it gives you all the characters,
yeah.
or you can choose to buy them individually. I like that. I also don't mind paying for one specific character as long as they are like a completely brand new character to the series.
Yeah.
If this is a character we've known for a while, even like from one past game, and you're just, like making you pay for that character individually, I feel like that's kind of messed up.
Well, and let's swing it to the obvious where it could have gone, right? In Smash Ultimate, what if the character pass had been for Echo Fighters? And that character pass is $25, $5 a character. Then you're getting a song and a stage, right? In
Yeah.
in some of the cases, it's multiple songs, such as the Dragon Quest Hero, 6 songs. Just put that out there. But if they had just been Echo Fighters and not brand new individual characters, $5 for an Echo Fighter is a ripoff.
Yeah, because it's just a skin.
Right. It's a little different, but it's not that much different. It's not $5 different.
Yeah, there's no way they put in enough effort to warrant that.
Right. And so that's where it breaks for me. It's, let's say for instance, Street Fighter V, they decide they want to add another Ryu. They want to add Evil Ryu, right?
Mm-hmm.
$5 for Evil Ryu when the only difference in the moveset is he fires a Dark Hadoken instead would be ridiculous.
Yeah, because you can literally just change the color
Yes.
in the code.
But $5 for Evil Ryu with an entire moveset based on Akuma, mixing in Ryu's moves with Akuma, I'd pay $5 for that. That sounds sick.
But it's a different character at that point,
Exactly.
It's not an Echo Fighter.
Yeah, and that's where it comes down to it individually for me. That's where I think like Gundam Versus, it's ridiculous how much DLC Gundam Versus has, right? It's like $65 once you have them all that you spent just on DLC characters. But at the same time, all of those suits are unique. They're not like anything else in the game,
Yeah.
And so as much as I hate how much I had to spend just on DLC characters, those suits are still fun. They're still interesting characters. They're not just more frame data thrown,
See, I'm worried that they did that because they knew they weren't going to make as much money wholesale on the game alone.
Well,
So
they
they're
should
like,
have
we're
just
going to have
pushed the
to.
game back, is what they should have done, and then had character passes.
Yeah.
Because
I think it came down to a financial crisis for them. They were like,
Yeah.
well, this game's not going to sell.
we absolutely get into the thing then too of what if you want the Virtue today? Too bad you can't buy the Virtue because you didn't pre-order, and it's never been available since. What if you want the Hot Scramble? Well, you didn't buy the game in the first month, so you can't get the Hot Scramble.
I can't stand those types of pre-order bonuses.
I can't either, and I don't understand. Like, that's more money you could be making that you're choosing not to make, right?
Yeah, because they're just wanting the initial pre-order sale, but they don't realize that like do both. Like do the pre-order and make it cheaper to get that part of the DLC via the pre-order.
Yeah.
And then charge people more who didn't pre-order the game. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
But not a lot more, obviously. Not like $5 more, but like even $2 or $3 more. That's $2 or $3 more of profit.
In my opinion, and again, we're armchair deving this whole conversation, right? Because we don't see how much it costs to make a character, right? But in my opinion, the DLC character, especially when you're a big name game that gets to announce it at like EVO, is not the sale of that character alone is not the money you're looking for. You're looking for people that go, Janinba? That's my favorite Dragon Ball character.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't bought Fighters yet, but I'm going to now because Janinba's in there. So you're just getting more hype for your game, you're getting more traction for your game, and you're getting fresh sales for your games from those characters. Those characters don't have to be $5, man.
Yeah, they really don't. They really don't.
But again, I don't know how much it costs to make them. I don't.
It just can't be that expensive, man.
I imagine that it is not cheap, but how many more would you sell if you sold them at $3 instead of 5?
Exactly.
Or at $2 where people could buy 2 characters for the price of 1? How many more people would spend $2? We're going to get back into the idea of spending in a second, and we do need to move on. I love that we took this derail topic because we did not plan to do it, but it fit in so well.
I didn't even read the next like few news. I was just like getting into it.
Because money is what the next 5 things. Well, the rest of the news for this week is about money, basically.
Yeah.
So it's great how that all tied in. Because the next big thing, unless you have any, before I move on, any last thoughts you have on DLC and character DLC?
I mean, I think we hit the nail. Like, really, the issue is like if there's no possible way that the amount of work it takes to add only one character to a game warrants the amount of sales that would be required if you were selling that character at $5 a character.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think $5 is kind of extreme. Which, granted, we've come a long way from $15 for 3 maps.
True. I mean, we've also come a long way from like pre-order, like for example with Call of Duty, like pre-order maps and specific DLC maps, DLC guns. Oh god.
But before that, we're talking about how far we've come. Let's look back on the glory days of, hey, pay $40 and the game that you love becomes basically another fresh new game with 40 hours more of content with a bunch of new classes and a bunch of new weapons and a bunch of new story and a bunch of new quests. I remember those days too. Speaking of those days, Blizzard, a company that used to do that a lot, that would have expansions for their games that drastically changed them and made them basically brand new games. Diablo 2, World of Warcraft, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3.
I still have to finish my Diablo run.
You need to, yeah. All those games used to get expansions that would, bring in a bunch of new content and would be one lump sum price. Activision Blizzard has shared their financial reports. 37% of their entire revenue is coming from their mobile games. You remember what their mobile games are?
So there's the new Diablo game.
Yep. Diablo
there's Hearthstone.
Yep.
That's all I know.
That's it.
Really?
So Hearthstone is making them a lot of money.
I know Hearthstone makes them a lot of money. I know it does.
Do you know why Hearthstone makes them a lot of money?
Because it's a gacha card game.
Because they focus on Hearthstone.
True. Okay, taking it a step further, like a small tangent. Hearthstone is a really well-made game. In my opinion.
Is. It absolutely is. It's very gacha. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's exploitative, but they put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, I feel like the game is really well balanced, unless you're going up against someone that's had hundreds and hundreds of hours in the game.
So now let's look at the other 63%, 63%, I'm sorry, of the revenue. That is coming from World of Warcraft, not League of Legends, Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm,
kinda,
Diablo.
No. They still have a lot of players, I think.
But they don't have a lot of money.
That's true.
And StarCraft.
Well, they lost Destiny too. Well, Call of Duty technically.
Yeah, technically on PC, not counting consoles.
Yeah.
So it's very clear that Blizzard has focused on that mobile market in a lot of ways, and is kind of leaving the rest of their projects out to die. The first one was StarCraft, which nothing has happened with, and basically is dead now.
Yeah, StarCraft is basically dead.
The next one was Heroes of the Storm, where they pulled their entire esports scene
They literally told us it was dead.
Yeah, they killed it. They didn't just tell they Heroes of the Storm didn't die. It was murdered.
But this time for real.
Yeah, by Blizzard. And then the most recent one was Diablo, which we found out they are not working on an expansion for it after all these years. There is not another expansion coming to Diablo 3, and there's no word on a Diablo 4.
Which would make them so much money.
It absolutely would. World of Warcraft has been on the decline.
Even after the vanilla re-release.
WoW Classic just came out this week. And there's been a lot of problems with it already, with people not being able to log in. They're not doing well when it comes to their games. They lost Destiny. The only game that's even remotely making them money right now is Overwatch. And Overwatch is not making a lot of money.
Yeah, they're having problems.
So it's very clear that Blizzard is kind of focusless when it comes to their PC market, which is a shame because for a long time Blizzard was like the PC dev, you know?
Yeah.
And I really honestly think that most of that problem is they're not putting any money into these other things, you know? They're not actually, the only one that's getting any work is Overwatch, and that's where they're trying new things. And again, I want to take this opportunity to say, community feedback has come out. My worries about the role queues were wrong. They weren't wrong to be worried about it, but they did not come to place. So I was wrong. I will be the first to freely admit that. People are very excited still about the role queue. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There are always things that can be tweaked, but people are excited. And that's what you need when it's the only PC game you have that's really making you money. It's for people to be excited.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe one day.
Yeah!
I re-downloaded it again. I just haven't booted it. But point is, because we're going to get back into most of these games again in a minute, but it really feels like Blizzard just doesn't know what to do. And instead of trying to fix the problem, is just relying on WoW and Hearthstone to make them the money. And I don't think that's going to work.
See, I honestly feel like they should sit down and look at the games that are making the most money, which right now is obviously Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, and Overwatch.
Yes.
And be like, okay, let's get these games where they need to be.
Yep.
So that they can sustain for a while.
Fix WoW, because if we don't fix WoW, we're dead.
Yeah. Fix WoW. This hopefully will fix Overwatch.
Yeah.
Hearthstone literally is sustaining. They could not do anything to Hearthstone and it would still be making money for them for the next 2 years.
I think you're right.
That game is that popular.
Yes.
So you leave Hearthstone alone for a minute. You
Focus on your problem kids.
Yeah.
And then go out to the graveyard.
Yeah, you finish fixing World of Warcraft so it can sustain, and then hopefully this will help Overwatch sustain. And then you make a new Diablo.
Yep.
And you wreck the world of gaming again.
And 2 years from then, you bring back StarCraft. You have this big marketing campaign of like, StarCraft's back, baby. And like everybody gets hyped.
And don't even like add a number to it and make it like it's the new game. Just call it StarCraft.
Yep, just reboot it.
That's all you have to do. Call of Duty's doing it, and look how great it's going so far. The game hasn't come out yet, and this is the most hype we've seen in Call of Duty in a long time.
Yeah. I'm not even Call of Duty. I don't even really like Call of Duty, but like people are hyped.
Just reboot the dang series.
And
that's all you gotta do.
Normally I hate reboots, right? But I want StarCraft back, dang it.
I want to experience StarCraft, and right now I really can't.
I want Jimmy back. Give my Jimmy back to me.
Could you imagine if they just left Hearthstone alone and did like we just said, just like do what we said? They come out with a new Diablo.
Yeah.
The amount of sales they're gonna get, Blizzard would literally be sitting on a lump of cash like they still are, that they're just not putting into their games.
You know why they can't bring Diablo back?
Because it was murdered.
Deckard Cain. They made the dumbest decision possible in 3.
Oh, he passed away.
You've beaten that part of the game. We were past that.
Dude, it's been so long since I've touched that game.
Yeah,
I don't
so
even remember.
spoilers for Diablo 3. Deckard Cain
Game
dies in
forever.
Diablo 3. So they can't bring back Diablo anymore because Deckard Cain's gone.
All you have to do is reboot the game.
But here's the thing. This is the important thing. Remember, it's called Diablo. So have us go into hell to save Deckard's soul.
Could you imagine? Okay,
I would.
Just
There
think
would
about
be
this.
nothing I would not pay to save Deckard Cain.
Think about this. We hear nothing about Diablo for the next 2 years, and then you see a trailer come out, and all it says is Diablo ... and it's a black screen, and the first voice you hear is Deckard Cain's saying, "Stay a while."
And listen. I'm in. Where's my wallet? Take it.
And that's the whole trailer.
Yep, I'm in.
That's all they have to do. That's all they have to do.
I'm reacting to that E3. I'm out of my chair. I'm behind it. The headphones are on the floor. I'm shouting. I'm in.
It's a black screen, and then it's like a fire, like the flame of a fire, like slowly starts to like burn, and it's just like barely rising up, and then you see the stars like slowly like fade in, and it looks up into the stars, and then in the stars you see Diablo like get written out.
Yeah.
There you go.
The
There's your ad campaign.
The story trailer, you have a guy being dragged down a set of stairs, and he gets thrown into a cell, and in the cell is an old man, like an ancient man. And the prisoner looks over at him, very clearly in hell, right? Very clearly. The man says, "What'd you do to get put in here, old man?" The old man says, "Stay a while and listen."
There you go.
Yeah. So we should move on. We have a bunch of
Diablo,
other news to talk about.
the Deckard Cain trilogy.
I'm in. Give it to me. I'm in. Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
The Cataclysm update came out for Anthem.
Why are we even talking about this?
Because I watched a bunch of footage on it, and the area looks kind of cool, actually. It's a shame there's a 15-minute limit on how long you can be in there in the new area.
Just shut it down. Just shut it down. Why are you doing this to people?
Also, they put a blue filter over the screen when you go into the Cataclysm to let you know you're in a storm. But when you leave your base before you go into the blue filter, there's a brief window, like maybe 2 seconds, right? Where there's no filter. So you see the entire environment for the color it's supposed to be, and then you hit the filter and it all goes blue.
Question. Why does it feel like they got a bunch of kids and they taught them how to write programs? And they were like, do your best because we're going to use your code to sell a game.
Yeah, so we have extensively talked about Anthem and the history of Anthem and the Jason Schreier article and everything. I don't think we really have to spend a lot of time on Cataclysm. I just wanted to point out how stupid that filter is.
Just shut it down.
And that your brand new area, you have 15 minutes to do each mission in there. And there's only 3 missions in it.
Shut it down. Why even waste your money at this point?
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree.
Like, just come out, have a press conference, be like, hey, we're EA. And, this isn't new. But for the first time ever, we made a mistake. Oopsie.
Yeah.
We're going to stop working on the game and do something else, which will also be bad. See you later.
The mistake, I think, because we do need to move on, but the mistake, I think, the big mistake they made was just expecting it to come together. Expecting that even after the bad launch, that the Austin studio would be able to make the game good. And when your premise is broken, you can't just make gold from it. Not
I
how it
know.
works. So
I know. Yeah, man, dude.
anyway, talking about stupidity, Walmart
Oh boy.
has
That, that
decided. Go ahead.
that's how you start this.
Yeah,
That's all you had to say. Walmart.
Walmart has decided that in the wake of the tragic, and I'm not trying to derail or detain anything from the tragedies, they were tragic, shootings that occurred in the United States in the last couple weeks. To combat violence, they would pull down their video game signage. So I got a very nice picture shown to me on Twitter of the video game section and the signage all pulled down. It's just blank, right? And I have something to say about that in a minute too, because they broke a lot of their. Having worked for a retail company in the gaming section, they broke a lot of the rules when they did that. But regardless, right beside the gaming section was the hunting and fishing section with the counter there with a rack that had guns in it. And on top of the guns, it said, there was a sign that said, "Own your class this year. Buy a rifle."
I'm gonna say it. Okay. I'm gonna say it.
I don't.
I'm gonna say it. When you look at this statistically, there's one country in this entire world that makes more money on video games than anything else. What country do you think that is?
Really curious about where you're going with this, so I'm gonna not answer and let you continue.
It's Japan.
Yeah.
How many mass shootings has Japan had last year?
Last year, none.
Huh. Okay. So, the United States is number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. This year we've had over 200.
Yeah. So
All the other countries behind us that are almost selling almost as many video games have less than 10.
So to clarify, again, we do our best to stay apolitical. Because I also understand exactly where Pat's coming from. The video games are not the problem. And, you know, whatever your opinion on what the real problem is, that's your opinion, right? We're not going to get into what the real problem is. Because, again, we could all disagree or we could all agree. We don't know. We have people from all over the world. We're not going to try and tie the U.S. into every conversation, right? But people from all over the world watch this channel is what I'm trying to say. But
yeah,
it's not the game's fault. And it's really hypocritical to me to pull down the game signage, and then right beside it is a sign that says, "Own your class. Buy a rifle." There are guns in my house. Make sure it's clear I have nothing against guns. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. But that's stupid.
that's the exact point I was about to make. Whether or not you're for guns, to sit here and say that a video game is going to cause someone to go out and kill another human being is literally blasphemous.
Do you remember that stupid extra credits video that I talked about a couple weeks ago? Like a month ago now? Where they were like, yeah, if you play Call of Duty, then you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What? This is that logic. This is literally the Jack Thompson argument of, like, you know, video games are going to ruin society. It's not the video game's fault. And that's not even getting into the back-end problems that comes with that, of Walmart just pulling down signage that companies have paid to be up.
Yeah,
without clearing it with those companies.
That's breaking legal legal agreements.
They're gonna get in big trouble for that. Again, I worked in gaming at retail for quite a few years. They get serious about it. They will pull all of their consoles from a store if that store is not putting up signage they paid to have up, because they get serious about that.
I want to make sure that this is very clear. We are not in any way trying to downplay the mass shootings, because those are very serious.
100%.
That's something that we need to address. Like, that's an issue, and we have to find a way to fix it, and everyone has their own way of fixing it. But one of these days, we've got to figure something out because it's just going to get worse. But the point that we're trying to make is that there is no possible way that you can prove that someone owning a video game and playing it is causing them to go out and murder people, because there's statistical proof that it's not the cause.
And again, I fall back on the same argument. The people that were going to do that were going to do that whether they played a video game or not. The game is
exactly
not. Because I can just reach over here to the shelf and just grab Shadow of the Colossus and Ico, a game about saving people that are important to you. A game about overcoming obstacles to protect the people you love. That's a game right there. Man, that's gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah.
You look at like Stardew Valley, right?
Oh, you play Kingdom Hearts? That must mean you're gonna be a mass shooter.
Yeah.
Oh, you play Minecraft? Oh man, you better watch out for his neighborhood.
And
that's ridiculous. Like, we're under attack.
So stupid, man. It's just so stupid.
And
go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't want to go too far into it, but all I'm going to say is,
yeah, I'm having to stop myself too because I could just rant on this.
I'm going to stop after this because I'm just going to stay heated otherwise. Just because what you thought originally was the problem and fixing it didn't fix the real problem doesn't mean you need to go after something else. That's what happened. Yeah. They were like, this is the problem.
This is scapegoat, 100%.
Yeah. And they're like, well, so we tried to fix the problem. It didn't quite work. So maybe it's a different problem. What's in common? Oh, you know what? All kids play games. All guys play games. All girls play games. It must be the video games problem. That's it. Oh yeah, stupid video games. Well, maybe if they were. Oh, dude, man.
Why it upsets me so much too is, again, because it is just a scapegoat. You know what's going to happen next week? Those signs are going back up.
Yeah.
Once they've said, we took a stance. Those signs are going back up and nothing's changing. So, thanks. Thanks, Walmart. I'm glad that you guys are going to get sued on the back end and nobody's ever going to see that lawsuit. But you guys are going to lose a lot of money for that. So good luck with that.
Why they have to come after the gaming community, I don't know.
It's because, again, it's an easy scapegoat. And as Fanboy put out, so far, it seems like people they're not buying into this. That Walmart has done this and people are just like, no, that's stupid.
Because it is.
It absolutely is.
It doesn't matter if you're playing Call of Duty, if you're playing, like, okay, did you ever play the Punisher game that came out a while back on the PS2?
Yes.
That was one of the goriest games I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And I played it as a child. I probably shouldn't have, but I played it as a child. I had no urge to go out and throw somebody in a wood chipper.
Yeah. Well, and again, if we take it to the logical extreme. If games are the problem, we get rid of games. That doesn't fix the problem. Movies are the problem. We get rid of movies. That doesn't fix the problem. TV is the problem. We get rid of TV. That doesn't fix the problem. Anime is the problem. We get rid of anime. It doesn't fix the problem. Comics are the problem. We get rid of comics. It doesn't fix the problem. Books are the problem. We get rid of books. Books aren't the problem. Okay, then we have mandated what we can and can't watch, what we can and can't read, but the problem's still there. So, good job, I guess. It's
the real problem, the real problem is that they're not actually looking at the real problem. Yeah. There we go.
So, speaking of problems and stupidity, Pat, how did they not think this was going to get found out? How did they think nobody would ever say something about this? So
I didn't know that this was the thing. I thought that they were speculating.
Right.
Now that I know that it's true, it genuinely makes me upset.
Right? So the FTC's been looking into loot boxes, and specifically they want to regulate them. And Pat, we kind of had a heated discussion about regulation and where we stand on it. And I'm more than willing to continue that discussion here if you'd like. But regulation aside, in looking into this, they found something real scummy. So basically, I don't have his name. I put his name away, Pat. Hold on. I don't remember where I put it.
I'm terrible with names, and you know this.
Okay, so one of the guys that is over one of the groups of YouTubers, and I know that's not very professional of me. I'm sorry. If I can dig his name up, I'll put it in the description. Was invited. He's over some big name YouTubers like Angry Joe. He was invited to the FTC's Roundhouse Talk about loot boxes, and while he was there, he took an oath to speak only the truth because it was a legal proceeding, right?
Yeah.
They asked him if loot boxes had ever been rigged and offered to his employees that were a part of his network, and he responded that they had. That his employees, he had forced them to turn the offers down, but that companies that at the time had names on the report now don't have names, but companies like Blizzard and Riot had offered loot boxes for streamers to show on their streams that had rigged rates so that they would have better chances of pulling cool stuff for their viewers, so the viewers would see that the loot boxes were good and they should buy them because they'll get good stuff out of them. Now again, we'll talk about loot boxes again in a minute because we have some more news that has come out for them. But I think no matter where you stand on the idea of a loot box, that's super scummy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
It's not okay.
that's first off, that's a straight up lie that the streamer is making to all of his viewers. And second off, like, man, there are children that watch those streams that are then gonna go, yeah, I can get this skin really easily. Mom.
Yep.
Oh man.
So to kind of get like on my stance of loot boxes, I have mixed feelings. I mean, I think everyone has obviously in every right, everyone has the right to their own opinion about anything, but and you should enjoy the fact that you have your own opinion because your own opinion matters.
Yeah.
But what my opinion is that like some companies, in my opinion, do loot boxes really well. Some of them obviously don't. Um, I know there's not an efficient way to regulate loot boxes because like my main example is Overwatch.
Yeah.
I actually like the way that Overwatch does loot boxes.
Yeah.
And I like that you can earn them by playing the game. You don't actually have to spend money. So the first thought of how to regulate that would be like, oh, okay, so make the person input their age, and then after they've input their age, that will determine whether or not they can pay for loot boxes.
Yep.
Well, the problem with that is all they have to do is fake their age, which people do all the time.
Right.
Another step would be, okay, well, let's just take out the loot boxes. Well, now you have to completely redo how you do cosmetics in the game. I don't think there's an efficient way to fix this problem because the main thing that, at least from what I can see, the main objection to loot boxes is that, you know, kids shouldn't be allowed to do it because it's gambling, which I agree with for the most part, I agree with. Parents shouldn't be giving their kids their credit cards to spend on these types of things, anyways. But that's
a parenting problem. That's a different issue, but I agree.
Can't conversation for another day. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like Overwatch's loot boxes should be taken out of the game because I feel like that they do them pretty well.
Okay.
Granted, they're not perfect, and I understand that. And I'd be lying if I said I don't get upset every single time I pull 4 commons. And I'd be lying if I said I haven't spent probably close to $300 on loot boxes since I've been playing Overwatch. But I've gotten 100 times more loot boxes just by playing the game than I have actually spent money on the game.
Yeah.
And so even if they just take out the purchasing aspect and make it where the only way you earn loot boxes is by playing the game and maybe you earn more of them, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
I think that's the best way to combat it.
I
You
would
can't pay for
still,
them.
I would still always prefer a system where you buy just the skin you want using just in-game currency. But if the loot boxes cannot be bought with real money, then that alleviates so much. We'll go back to the example of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right? It technically has loot boxes in the form of the core crystals, but you can't spend real money on them. I would much rather be able to just spend in-game resources to get the blades I want. Because I'm 635 hours in that game, and I still don't have all the blades. But I can't spend real money on them. And I would have, I know myself, I would have. And so because Nintendo didn't give me that option, I have not spent a dime on that. There's no telling how much I would have spent, you know?
And see, and that's exactly where I'm at, where it's like, so you make it where you can pay for loot boxes with in-game currency. You keep it how it is, where you can buy the skins and cosmetics that you want with in-game currency by earning them, and you keep the ones that are for events stuck for events, so it keeps people playing year round.
Yeah,
it fixes the problem.
I agree. The problem for me is not. I mean, I agree. The kids should not have access to it at all. That's a big thing for me. The problem for me is the way that they're marketed now too, where they're like actually bringing in people from like casinos and marketing casinos that work on slot machines to go, hey, how should we market these so that people buy them? How can we, abuse that part of people's mind that makes them want to buy loot boxes? And like that bothers me. But with that said, that leads us into our other piece of news here, which is that to a point that will be harder to do now. Because, and I'm just going to name these all off in a go here. Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Psyonix, Epic, Blizzard, Bandai, Bethesda, Bungie, EA, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, and Wizards of the Coast have all committed, because of this FTC investigation, they've all committed to showing factual odds on loot boxes for future games. So it has not stopped them from adding loot boxes to future games. But any game that comes out now, before you spend a dime on the loot box, you will be able to see what your actual percentage chances are. Not the fake ones that gacha games show you all the time, but actual factual information that they will now legally be held to show you what your percentage is to be able to get the different tiers of items. Because a lot of these games, and this is where it gets really scummy for me, and it's what sours the well for loot boxes, because I agree with you. I love opening up a good loot box. Like, again, if we go back to the Core Crystal example in Xenoblade, because I can't spend money on those, right? It's a really fun time when I get a bunch of rare Core Crystals, and I can open them all in a row, and I don't know what blades I'm going to get. Like, I have a chance to get a really good blade, that's cool, right?
Absolutely.
But, in a lot of these games, they'll give you a percentage of, it's a 8% chance in this event to get a 5-star character, or to get a legendary item, when in actuality it's like a 3.5%. And your chance hasn't gone up at all, really. It's gone up like 0.1%, but they're showing you that it has gone up, and then giving you a fake percent so that you spend money, which is just scummy,
Absolutely.
Like, give me the actual numbers, and then I can decide.
So, I think this does two things. Obviously, it makes it more fair. So, like, as a consumer, you know what you're getting into. Also, I think it creates more chances for these companies to fix the wrongs that they've already made with a lot of people who've been spending closer to thousands of dollars on loot boxes and not been getting what they want.
Yeah.
Because there's another way you make this work for both the company and the consumer. And Overwatch, in my opinion, is just the perfect example because I know it well enough.
Right.
You add another tier of loot boxes.
Yeah.
So you have the standard loot box, you have the event loot box, which will always be unique, and then you have like a gold loot box or the loot box plus, whatever whatever BS you
whatever
call
you decide to name it.
And you just increase the chances, and it costs a little more. That's all you have to do.
Absolutely. And go ahead.
If they're smart, I'm sorry, this is the last thing.
Go ahead.
If they're smart, they make the same loot boxes that have been available this whole time that have the low percent chances. You make them cheaper.
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you make the new loot boxes, the ones that are the percent chances that you wanted everything to be, more expensive.
Yeah.
So people will, if they want a better chance to get what they want, they'll pay for it, or they'll just continue to play the game and hope that they get it on that 1.7% chance to get whatever it is.
Or you do what, and again, we'll go to Overwatch. You do what Overwatch does, where you could get the loot box, or you could just buy it with gold that you earn in game.
Yeah, and if you get duplicates in Overwatch, you get gold.
Yeah, and it takes longer to get the gold you need, but you can still do it. My real hope with this, the big thing I hope from this, is that it will make these companies that have committed to do this reevaluate their percentage chance and go, hey, honestly, 3% might be a little low for the top tier. Maybe that needs to be 10%.
I guarantee you this, Trey. They will have to do that.
They don't have
and
a
the
choice,
reason why,
because people aren't going to buy one with 3%.
Exactly. Well, the kids might, because kids don't understand those percentages probably the same way as that a maturing adult would. But an adult's gonna see that and they're like, 3%. I might as well just wait for the free one.
Yeah,
like that. There's no point.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to do something, and they could do a lot of you could do a lot of things. Have an event like a loot box event. It's like one weekend every month where the percent doubles. Something stupid like that. That will get you sales. That's all you have to do.
Well,
that's all you have to do.
Again, we'll use Overwatch because that's a game we both played that has loot boxes in it, that has alternative options. Would it break Overwatch if instead of, I don't know what the actual percentage is, but let's say it's like a 3.5% chance to get a gold item. Would it break Overwatch for it to be a 10% chance to get a gold item instead? Would that break the progression of Overwatch? No, not at all.
Not at all.
Because how many skins are there that you want?
I want so many skins.
That's what
it's
I'm
ridiculous. Same thing with voice lines, like the voice, and that's why I think that's what Overwatch has done so well. Is there's even some sprays that I'm like, that's a cool spray. I want and I'm gonna jokingly spray that everywhere.
Yeah.
That probably isn't a good soundbite.
Real quick, there is going to be at some point we're gonna get popular enough that there are out of context Trey and out of context Pat Twitter bots, and you're gonna get, and I want to spray that everywhere, and I'm gonna get. No, I mean I'm not saying they're stupid. Argabutina. Scared that gaming companies will simply find another even more scary. I am honestly. I'm a little afraid that there will be a new scummy solution, like they'll fix loot boxes and then go, hey, but we still want that money. How we gonna get it?
I feel like they're smart enough though to know that people still want the loot boxes.
Yeah, hopefully.
They could do something else scummy, but the FTC is still gonna get them for that too. So it makes no sense in my opinion.
The FTC is now on their back. It is. The FTC went last year. We're like, we should probably look into loot boxes. To now they're like, hey, how's that looking? Have we made some progress? Because if not, we're gonna have another roundtable. How's that sound? You guys want to have another roundtable?
we could have another roundtable.
And again, don't get me wrong. Just to clarify, I don't agree with everything the FTC has done, but I think bringing light to this stuff and forcing the companies to reevaluate the way they do it is definitely a positive.
See, to get into King's other point too, what if it changes to pay to win stuff? That's one thing that I've always hated about the newer Call of Duty is it is pay to win. You pay for the DLC to get the better guns, and then you beat everyone that doesn't have DLC. It's a problem. Like, those guns are always OP. And there's other games that do the same thing where, and this is one thing that 2K does, which is why I don't play some of the online game modes. If you're willing to pay the VC and put in a little bit of time, you can make your character a 99 overall.
Yeah.
And they keep telling us that they're going to change that, and this year is supposedly going to be different, and I don't believe it. And the reason I don't believe it is because the way that I should probably give a little bit of context, but basically the way that they make it different, or add levels, is you have to be able to continue to upgrade your player. You have to play so much and actually do you don't have to be good, but you just have to play enough for to earn an XP barrier. Yes, you break the barrier to the next level of XP, and then you keep you can pay for all of that to max out, and then you just keep playing the game until you break the next barrier, and that's how you slowly make it to the overall 99.
Yeah.
But there's still a problem with that because all you have to do is spend a lot of money and put a little bit of time in, and you still achieve what you want. So it's kind of like there's always gonna be a play to win.
Yeah.
But the games that do it right do cosmetics.
Yeah. Well, then, I don't mean to immediately just bring 14 up, but, you know, hey, 14. In 14, you pay a sub. Then there are optional things you can buy with real in life, like in IRL money. And it's just mounts. There are people that get upset all the time, like, hey, why aren't those mounts available in game? Some of them are mounts that come from special events. Some of them are mounts that come from the Chinese and Korean servers, where those dev teams have made those mounts, and they're free in-game on those servers, but not on ours. But at the same time, there are still a ton of mounts that are available in-game that you can buy with in-game currency, you know? And I prefer that personally, where I can choose, no, I want that stupid fat cat mount, so I will pay $10 for that mount. Is that a bit high? Maybe. I'll freely admit, maybe that's higher than it needs to be. But I want that mount. I don't have to have that mount. In-game, I've already got like 45 mounts that I didn't spend a dime on, you know? I want that stupid fat cat.
It's like, I agree with you when you say that, like, it's better to just be able to pay for what you want specifically, or use in-game currency to get what you want specifically. But that's why I was saying, like, I feel like Overwatch does that right, because you have that option still, even though you have the loot boxes, which is what makes it so fun to me, and why I've put so many hours in to still not have the one Hanzo skin that I want.
I'll give you a through Discord high five because of my Xenoblade. 600 hours.
I'm about 300.
So yeah, we have spent most of this podcast, it feels like, talking about loot boxes, but there was a lot of loot box news. There was a lot of financial news, a lot of things like that. It all comes back to money, right?
Yep.
And speaking of money, the last big news beat that we have is, I wasn't even excited for this and I'm bummed. In 2017, Microsoft announced the Minecraft Super Duper Graphics Pack for Xbox One. Where if you played Minecraft on Xbox One, it would have like the best, like the water textures looked amazing. The actual like world looked amazing. It was like Minecraft 2.0 almost when it came to graphics, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have announced that they have canceled the project because they could not get it to work on all relevant devices. So I will let you guess what you think relevant devices mean.
All consoles?
I'm assuming
mobile?
they're including mobile, yes.
Yeah.
Which is stupid!
In a way, it's not, though. I mean, I feel like I agree it's dumb. Like,
Don't
you shouldn't
the
expect it on mobile.
project.
Yeah,
Just
you
put it
shouldn't
out on
expect...
Xbox.
But I feel like what they were trying to be nice, so I'll give them that.
It just seems so stupid to me. I'm like, we got this project.
Download a texture pack.
We got this, and that's the worst part. Is texture packs already do that, and they're free. And with 2 years of dev work, they couldn't do this on Xbox One because they were trying to do it on a phone when there are shader packs for the phone that already do it.
See, I wish devs would reach out to people who make mods and be like, hey, your mod is great. Let's pay you a small sum so we can take what you have and make it ours.
And
that's all they have to do.
You may say, I agree. You may say, Trey, you seem unreasonably upset for somebody who doesn't play Minecraft. You're right. I don't play Minecraft. You know who does play Minecraft? Well, Pat, for one. My brothers. My 10-year-old and 8-year-old brother, who have been looking forward to this since I told them it had been announced. You know what I had to do today?
Yeah.
Tell him it had been canceled. I thought my 8-year-old brother was gonna cry.
Now, Trey, hear me out. Okay. A lot has changed in Minecraft, my guy.
Yeah.
We could do
No.
a hardcore
Nope.
run.
Nope.
We could
Nope.
with texture
Nope.
packs. With texture packs.
Nope.
Trey,
Doing it.
Minecraft is fun again.
If we're doing that, we're bringing my oldest brother, my youngest brother in.
I'm down. I am down to play with him if he wants to play.
I'll discuss
You shouldn't have said that because you just opened the door.
I know. I'll discuss it with him.
Because, dude, I played Minecraft for the first time in probably close to 8 or 9 years. Yeah, like what was like a month ago?
Yeah.
And I was like, why did I stop playing this game? This game is so good.
The last time that I played Minecraft was at Drummond's Extra Life stream when we did
we played then.
Phoenix, yeah.
I take that back. That was the last time I played. But the last time I actually played Minecraft. Yeah.
Regardless. Thanks, Microsoft. You made my brother cry.
Also, Trey, there's a texture pack that adds moles that actually like dig into the ground.
Not enough for me.
And werewolves.
You know what I need?
And dragons.
It's not enough. You know what I need?
What?
Need a mod that adds.
There probably is one. Let's be honest here.
Pat,
there's probably a Common Rider skin.
You find me a Common Rider mod pack and I'm in. Not live on the podcast.
I don't think you realize how quickly I could probably get this done.
Anyway, that's all the news that I had for this week. Did you have anything else or any plugs?
I did not. Oh, would you look at this Common Rider mod pack?
What's it got?
Since 1971, the Common Rider series has captivated people across the world.
That's true.
It began as a small project in late 2012 to put the mods and has since evolved into a sprawling mod with hundreds of items, weapons, and forms with multiple developers on board. Let's see. Nearly 50 years of history comes to Minecraft. Dozens of riders with unique effects and powers. Let's see. I see speed, invisibility 2, strength 2, haste 2, saturation. These weapons look good, Trey. I don't know what they are, but they look really cool. And this armor, like they're wearing armor that I'm assuming is supposed to look like their Common Rider suits.
Do they have any specific names on there?
I don't see names on here.
So while you're looking, let me tell you guys a quick story. The whole podcast, our viewers know that I spend a lot of time with my siblings, that my parents aren't in the best health all the time, and I help take care of my siblings. Well, I picked my siblings up from daycare one day, and on the way home, they wanted to hear some music, and so I just hit play on my phone, just on my Spotify playlist, and it played "Sun Goes Up" from Kamen Rider O's, the Sagozo theme, and then we listened to it 15 more times because they were hype, they were in. So then when we got home, I showed them the Sagozo transformation, and then we had to watch all the O's transformations, and then we watched all the W transformations, and we had a really good time just watching a bunch of Kamen Rider transformations. And now they want to watch Kamen Rider, and I have to let them get older first. I could let them watch Kyoryuger, though. Kyoryuger, I might do that. So I'm looking at that, Pat.
I'm gonna fix it. Hold on.
I'm not seeing anybody I recognize. I mean, I recognize Xaid. I don't know Rexaid yet. But if it was, maybe I need to look again. But
no, let me fix it. Hold on.
So all I'm saying is, for everybody that encouraged me to continue watching Kamen Rider, thank you. because my youngest brother is 3 now. Sorry, he's 3, and him just going, "Well, let's do Sagozo," is the cutest thing in the world, and so there you go. So let's see. We got Xaid and some people I don't know. We got.
Okay, let me scroll over here.
I recognize Kuga at the top. That's Ghost on the left. I don't know who the rest of those people are. It's Drive in the front left. And some more people. I don't know. Who is. I don't recognize any of those other people there.
There's a lot.
Go back, go back.
This one.
Yeah, right there on the far left. That's Gaim. And so then behind, and then behind him is Baron, and Ryugen, and then Zangetsu. And
there's a lot.
You got. Oh man, I see. Bravo. I see. What is his name? Chestnut guy. I see Zach. I see Mr. Nakurman. Yeah, that's the guy I'm crew. There, that's cool, man. Then there's Double. There he is, right there in the middle. That's just Cyclone, but on the far left, that's Double. Yeah. Oh, hey Zeke. Yeah. I mean, that stuff looks cool. If you get to actually, like, that's armor. That's not just a skin.
It is armor. Yeah, that's why I was trying to tell you. It's armor. It's not a skin. They actually modded it, Trey. It looks good. Remember, Trey?
I recognize a bunch of those Showa guys too from the Heisei versus Showa movie that I watched. Yeah, I might be down for that. I might be down.
I got him. I got him, everyone.
I want to wear that Forza armor so I can go Uchu Kita. Zeke probably can because it's 87 degrees in this room now. Very hot. Gotta get more Freon in that air conditioner. Work on that tomorrow. Shame it went out today when we had a podcast. He's probably hot too. So yeah. That's all I really had for this week. Pat said he didn't have any plugs. I'm gonna keep working on 3 Houses. I'm gonna try and get the other playthroughs done. I'm gonna start playing Judgment again. See what I can get done there. I'm gonna keep working on Kyoryuger and on 14. All balanced around my weird work schedule lately. And then Saturday again I have work, so we can't do Gundam Game Day then, but we're gonna aim for next week for Gundam Game Day. Hopefully that will work. We shall see. Currently looks like I might have work around 5 next Saturday, so we may have to do like an earlier Gundam Game Day and end earlier, but we will see. Like I said, my schedule's rough right now for trying to stream, which is why you haven't seen any streams. But videos are gonna keep coming out. I will continue to record stuff around work and sleep. My poor boy has a stomach ache.
It's rough.
But with all that said, I have been Gabutida.
We just got a shout out from King for Raft. That game is freaking awesome.
Yeah, Raft is going to continue. Fire Emblem's going to continue. I actually need to edit more episodes of Raft. That feels.
Let's play Minecraft. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll have to do some Minecraft. And then the first episode of that one series hasn't even come out yet. I was saving it until we had a bunch of episodes of it, and we don't have a bunch of episodes of it.
Yeah, we need to jump back into that whenever Andrew has a little bit more time.
Yeah, hopefully next week time will come back up for him again. And then Pat and I have a video planned at some point we haven't got to record yet, talking about the EDs as compared to the OPs that we already talked about. And I may or may not have the Kyoryuger ED now to talk about. But no, we're going to talk about anime EDs. Sentai doesn't count, sorry. But we're going to have a good time with that one too. So
it could be an honorable mention.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Around all that, the video of me attempting to do the jumping puzzle in the FF14 Moonfire Fair event will be coming out. It's kind of funny too because I recorded like 30 minutes span, and about 15 of it was the actual jumping puzzle. And the first part I talk a little bit, but not that much, so I just cut to the jumping puzzle. Afterwards, I was so mad I didn't talk for the rest of the video, so I cut that out too, and it's just the jumping puzzle. But there'll be more videos coming. I've almost finished the final draft of the yelling out attack name script, and I'm working on my Kamen Rider double script. So eventually those will be coming out. The Sekiro script is not been worked on at all, and the review for Jump Force is not. Let you know. One day. With all that said, though, I have been Trey. This has been Zeke.
And I've been Patrick.
We've been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that Gabutida has to offer.
Yes.